Hello everyone. Just spent a couple of very enjoyable hours at the local annual Wargames show, the Plymouth Association of Wargamers show, and wanted just to show you some of the things I purchased and some pictures I took of the games there. Um, yeah, I enjoyed this show more than I have done many of the other shows that Paul have run in recent years. But you can't help but notice it is shrinking year by year. Number of traders there had diminished once again, and once again, a lot of the sort of bigger names didn't attend this year. They seem, if you do the arithmetic, they must make most of their money, I think, now on entry tickets to the tournaments, and it's a 2 day show simply so that they can stage tournaments. As I say, I spent a couple of hours there. After that, I was done really. It was good fun, but no point in staying any longer. So they're making money on the tournaments, obviously. You know, the club's making a profit. There's no incentive for them to change, but at the same time, you know, it's not up there with other shows that cities of comparable size put on. You know, so it's a pity in a way, but I had a good time. I mean, if I can use the football analogy, Plymouth Argyle have just finished playing. They beat West Bromwich Albion 2-1. It's the first game in a run of 15 games where they have actually won, and they are well adrift at the bottom of the championship now, and looks like they're going to be relegated back to League Division 1. Plymouth, in the history of football, is the only city in England that has never had a team playing in the top flight of the football league, whatever that might be. At the moment, it's the Premier League. Long ago, it was League Division 1. Plymouth has never had a team in the top division. You know, same situation really with War Game shows and War Games Club. You know, and it's kind of a mystery. Both things are a mystery. Why it should be the case, we just have to accept that it is. But you know, everywhere you go in Plymouth, you bump shoulders with war gamers. Conversations you have with complete strangers, turns out they war game. Never see them at the show. You know, some of them you might see at the you never see them at the club. Some of them you might see at the show. Anyway, I'll stop moaning because I did have a really good time. As you go in, you pay your entrance fee. They give you two dice and a badge for the first time. Dice are always going to come in useful. The badge, not so not so fond of. Quite a long time ago now, they changed their logo to the footprint of a cat or a dog. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but you know, they sell polo shirts and all that kind of thing with this on it. If you wear them around town, people think you belong to a pet club or an animal charity or something like that. They don't recognise it as Wargamers. I think it's a daft logo. Things that I bought, quite prosaic purchase, which was my main purchase, was I pre-ordered from Charlie Foxtrot Models some of these inserts to go in really useful boxes. Now, I'm not going to use them for what they're intended, which is the 32mm wide kind of Warhammer Games Workshop type models, and I'm not going to put magnets in them and have what I'm using on, magnetised to them either. But I thought I've got a sort of problem at the moment with I'm painting up so many planes that are on hexagonal flight stands, and you put them in a container to store them safely, and they float and drift around because they're quite light. Some of them are metal, the majority of them are plastic. They just drift around in the tray, get all jumbled up. It's really hard to organise them neatly because the wingspans of the models, overlap the flight stand base. And I thought if I put them in here, in these things, at least they would not drift about so much, so I'll be able to keep them ordered. So I'll let you know in a future video how I get on with that experiment. It might be money wasted, but I think that'll probably work. So that was actually my main purchase. It was the only thing that I definitely had in mind to purchase, but there were a few other things that I thought I would pick up. Athena Miniatures were there again because he is local to Plymouth. He is a Plymothian by birth, and he always comes down for our show now that he's got a little range of Wargames figures going. Last year I bought a lot of Wars of the Roses figures from him. This year I didn't buy so many figures. I just bought one group of 10 Saxon house skulls with Dane axes. Because as you probably know, I am quite into Brethren at the moment. More on that in a minute. So I thought I would get some more Dark Age figures. Try and get this one disentangled from the Dane axes. So they look pretty good. I'll hopefully get around to painting up those quite quickly. So that was my only figure purchase. And then there was also a company there called F for Freddy Terrain, which they do seem to be appearing on the Wargaming show circuit now. It probably came down to Plymouth not realising, that it probably weren't going to have a very high turnover. We'll do a very good trade down here, so they probably won't turn up again next year, but took advantage of their presence here to buy a few little bits and pieces. I was hoping to get something that I could use for my World War II Pacific figures. They did have some log built kind of strongholds and things that would have done, but I thought they didn't look much better than I probably could have scratch built myself, so I didn't buy them in the end. They didn't have anything like more. They had bunkers, but they were all sort of Atlantic Wall type looking things, European looking things, rather than sort of bunkers that the Japanese might have used on some of the Pacific Islands. But I did pick up these set of three paddy fields, which I thought were quite nice and quite useful and will come in handy for samurai games and so on. And in the same vein, I purchased from them 5 individual little cherry trees. I have got a few cherry trees around somewhere, but the recent game I played set in the Genpei Wars period, I was looking for them and couldn't find them, so they're probably at the back of the cupboard somewhere. So I wasn't being lazy by buying some more. I thought these looked quite attractive and nice, and I would get some more just to supplement what I've got already, and I'll keep them somewhere where they're a little bit more accessible. So you might see those cropping up in some future bat reps. They were my only purchases. I went around all the games. Met up with a lot of people, old acquaintances, friends of mine, people who I know less well, but lots of people that I'm now acquainted with. So I had lots of wargaming chat as I went around. Um, the person that I was most interested in meeting up with was Matthew Sutton O'Connor, who was putting on a demo game of his set of rules, Brethren, which again you probably know if you follow my channel. I'm very keen on, and I was anxious to get to talk to him just so that I could clarify in my own mind some of the questions I had about the rules. Turns out that the way I interpret the rules, by and large, is the way that they were intended. So things like 360-degree vision, if you come into contact with another opponent's piece and that piece hasn't activated, you stop it from being activated just by contacting it. So I was playing all that correctly. What else? There was one rule that I'd got wrong, which was that I've been playing it that if a figure has a weapon in each hand, they use both weapons. But in fact, what you're supposed to do is nominate the primary weapon, and they only get to use that weapon in that particular round of combat. But you do get to re-roll one of the dice. So that was a mistake. I mean, looking at it now, I was obviously mistaken. It was a omission in my part. So really good to talk to him about that. Reassuring that my interpretation of the rules has been, how he intended them to be, and I was able just to, reinforce my fondness of the game. Just talking to him, telling him, what great game I think it is. So it's nice to meet him. I went around all the tables of the demo games. There were a lot more games than there were traders. I took little bits of footage of all of the historical themed games. Didn't bother with any of the sort of fantasy Games Workshop type stuff that doesn't, rock my boat, so you won't get to see any of that. But I have got footage of all of the historical games, bar one, which was a pretty straightforward and simple game of Wings of Glory. It's a perfectly fine game. It's just, it doesn't really. It's not particularly photogenic, So much as I like the game, I thought it's a perfectly reasonable thing to put on a wargame show. I didn't bother to take any pictures of that, but every other historical game I took pictures of, and people had put in a great deal of effort into making their games presentable. If I were to give a prize to one of them or to nominate one as the best, I think it would probably, at a pinch, be Philip Goff's game, 15mm World War II game using the battle group rules. It was just really nice, not on a massive table, really nice, small, self-contained game. But the table was laid out, with a lot of attention to detail and a lot of, sort of detail in it. A lot of things to look at and see, and nicely painted figures and models, and just on camera it looked good through the camera lens, so it was a nice game to photograph and get images of. But there were lots of others that were equally people had put a lot of effort into, so that was the best of a very good bunch. So that's it. That's my summary of my day morning at Paul, and I'll finish now by showing you the footage. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.
So we've moved them 4 inches.
Yeah.
We got.
Oh, you got a medal. Excellent. So a medal allows you to do a recon under the medal effects for your patrol route.
Right.
Yeah. So he can then scout anyone within 15 to see if he sees them. And he's gonna. Oh yeah. So he has been detected.
Next one is 5v4. I get this 5, you get the 5 and there are 5, you get the 4 again. So 10v6. Each of these you're getting an extra point. So finally we have 5 versus 4 up to 5 down to 4. So 5 versus 4. 9 versus 6, so that's just pushed back. I think is in line with that. We'll follow up again. And then this one, they didn't run. The cannon!
Well, yeah, obviously it landed there, it exploded, and all the stuff went toppling over.
Wait till you see some of the cars are in there.
Somewhere over here, right?
It's not double.
We'll have a double.
So you can spot C. Sit in. Got a roll dice. It's a hit anyway. So 4 up. I'll give you 5 ups, it's a cornfield as well. 4 dice at 5 ups. 3 dead. Okay, and a morale.
Do a block.
And a morale check. There we go. Need a high one.
That's 8 borders. Right. Who's on spot, man? Yeah.
Comms check. Accuracy So they can just go cross country 9 inches if you want.
No worries, I think I'll probably do that. But what's the deal with sending infantry over the river?
I was going to say, make it cross here, no problem at all. Here, you roll a d6 to see how many inches you lose.
Okay.
So it might be easy. And then we'll just use 4 for now, and then you've got the rest as just to get going, if you like, to speed it up. And then you can bring more on when you need them. So, yeah. And this will be the last one